Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I've been sent in some questions from students on my High Peak Autos Academy course. So I thought I'd answer those questions publicly because it might benefit other people, but also I've asked for some more questions on YouTube. So we've got a mixture here of High Peak Autos Academy students and also viewers. So it should be quite interesting, there should be a good mix. If you're interested in joining the course and you want to know more about the used motor trade, then it's still free for the first 30 days and then just £27 a month thereafter. And you can cancel at any time, there's no contract. I'll leave the link below in the video description, so take a look for yourself. But I've made nearly 100 videos which explain every single aspect of the used motor trade, from branding, funding, buying cars, preparing cars for sale, it's all there. So I think you'll find it interesting if you want to get involved in this line of work. Right, I think we'll start off with the student questions then. So, hi Matt, when starting off, do you recommend joining any trade associations? It wouldn't hurt, would it? I didn't personally, but I guess you could. The thing you've got to bear in mind is that a lot of people don't trust used car dealers. So any sort of trade affiliation or trade association that you can get involved, then I think just gives you a bit more credibility. Next one, now this is quite an interesting one actually. Hi Matt, I've contacted Motonova Finance regarding becoming their finance broker, but they said I'm just starting up and don't have much trading history, so they won't even entertain the idea. Now I had this same issue. I think I had been trading for about 6 months or maybe 12 months before I got my FCA license. So the best thing to do is speak to the FCA, get your license, and then you can deal with anybody rather than go directly to a broker like that. It's probably worth trying other lenders as well, not just Motonovo. After all, you're going to be providing them with more business, so it's definitely worth shopping around. Next one. Hi Matt, I've just set up my business. I haven't bought a car yet to sell. I was just wondering what cars you buy to sell when you first start up. You know, cars that sell quick, just to get myself up and running. I've got a budget of about £3,000. Well, personally, I would keep it simple. I'd try and buy 3 cars for £1,000. Something like Toyota Aigos, Citroen C1s, things that are easy to fix when they go wrong. And also things that are easy to prepare. That's what I'd do. Next one. Hi Matt, which HPI check can I use to find out the options list for my own car? Personal, as in not trade. A lot of these companies don't do that. I know Car Vertical do. This video isn't sponsored by them, by the way, but they do that, so it might be worth checking with Car Vertical. If you check any of my I bought a cheap ... videos, then most of those are sponsored by Car Vertical, so check them out and you'll get a discount. Hi, I signed up for the course last night. I've been a viewer of your channel for the last couple of months. Thanks for the videos. Well, thank you for watching. Here's my personal scenario. I've just bought my first trade car from BCA. I bought it for £2,900, including fees. It's had an ABS sensor change because it was faulty. Now the diff has a continuous humming or grinding noise. What should I do? Do I get it reconditioned? Do I find one similar and replace it? Or sell it on as is and mention the fault? The diff recondition is about £600. Well, unfortunately, this is the problem with the motor trade. This is why I always find that you need to buy and sell as many cars as possible, and then when you do hit a bit of a problem car like this, you can just take it on the chin. What I would do personally is have a look for a second-hand diff, which might cost you £150, £200, and then fit it. You can then sell the car on with a clear conscience and just kind of wipe your mouth with it really and move on. Next one. Hi Matt, I run a retail business which is hopefully temporarily in the toilet due to demand and pricing. Therefore I have a little income, but not a massive amount of time. My thought process was to get dealer insurance with a view of buying 3 cars per month from auction, 10 to 15 grand cars. I gather from your course that you're not a fan of auctions, and I wonder whether you thought 10 to 15k level would make a difference. My goal is to make 3 grand per month. PS, big fan of your videos. Well, thank you. Right, this is only my opinion now, so I'm no expert on this, but if I were you and you're gonna be selling cars from your driveway, I wouldn't buy 10 to 15,000 pound cars. I'd keep it simple. You can make £3,000 a month from 3 or 4 cheaper cars. I'd try and limit it to maybe cars that you're paying £2,000 for or £2,200 for that you can then sell on to £2,800 or £3,000, and you'll make decent profit. There's no point putting yourself under more pressure by having £30,000 laid out in 3 cars. Hello Matt, firstly thank you very much for making this course. I'm a novice, but I'd really like to do this as a side hustle to start with, along with my full-time job. I'm thinking to start with a vehicle in the range of £2,000 to £3,000 retail. That's what I would do as well. I inquired about motor trade insurance. My personal insurance is ending, and the quote is £4,000, which includes my personal car on a comprehensive plan. which is quite expensive for me without having any gains. It is expensive, there are no two ways about it, and there's nothing really you can do. You need it. You can't do this job without insurance. I wouldn't even dream of doing that, so you need insurance. So what you've got to do, I think, this is what I did anyway when I did mine. It's expensive, but that pressure makes you get out of bed in the morning. So just bite the bullet, just do it. You'll make it back. The first 3 or 4 cars you sell will pay for that premium, so just move on. He's also asked, I need a place to keep them because I don't have a driveway. Can I keep it on the roadside? Well, you can't keep it on the roadside without tax, so you'd have to tax it. But that sounds like an expensive solution, but it isn't really, because you could tax them on a monthly direct debit. You know, if an average car is £120 a year, it's only going to cost you £10 a month. Hopefully you'll only have it a month or two. Next up, MOT. What if the MOT is already expired when I bought it from the auction? Well, re-MOT it basically. It's as simple as that. And test drives. If a potential buyer wants to do a test drive, how could it be done legally? Well, you need to make sure that your insurance covers you for accompanied test drives. Most do. Next one. Hi, I've just started my car trading business, trading from home. Instead of getting cars from the auction, how would you get stock regularly? How would you get stock off the public? How can you get stock off main dealers? You need to, now it's easier said than done, this, don't get me wrong. You need to put yourself out there. You need to, post on social media, post on Facebook that you're looking to buy cars. I guarantee people will be in touch, because a lot of people don't understand this job and they just can't be bothered trying to sell their own car. Just make yourself known, basically. Go and speak to local garage owners, not main dealers, but smaller independent garages. Just put yourself out there. Hi Matt, do you know what cars to buy? Everyone always says buy the small engine stuff because they sell fast. Don't buy the bigger stuff. It's up to you. It depends which direction you want to go in. You could have a nice little niche business where you specialise in one type of car, but I like to spread my bets. So if you have a look at my website, there'll be big engine cars, small engine cars. You never know what's going to sell next. So I think you've got to, it is like gambling basically. You just need to spread your bets. You need to have a little bit of everything, I think. Hi Matt, when sourcing cars, do you ever go around them with a paint thickness gauge? Does it put you off if you find out that a few panels have been repainted? It depends on the car. If I was selling, I don't know, real high-end stuff, then you wouldn't want to buy something that had paintwork. But most used cars have had a little bit of paintwork here or there, and that certainly doesn't put me off. Definitely not. And I don't have a paint gauge thickness. When you've done the job for as long as I have, you can tell straight away if something's had paint. But no, I don't bother with that. If it's been done well, that wouldn't put me off. If it's a mess, every panel's a slightly different colour like that Corsa I filmed with recently, then it might do, but not ordinarily. Hi Matt, how do you manage your money pot while starting out if you're relying on your profits to make a living as well as reinvesting? That is a difficult one. I'm still juggling money all the time. I'm always borrowing money from various different accounts, and it's probably the most stressful part of my job, cash flow. But then any business is the same, or every business, should I say. Cash flow is the biggest source of stress. So I don't have an answer for that, I'm afraid. Hi Matt, I have a couple of questions about getting started from home before going official with a business. Is there a way around registering each vehicle I buy and sell in my own name? Or do I really have to increase the number of previous owners, and does that not look suspicious? Yes, you can mark it down as being sold to trade. So I think it's the yellow slip on your V5. So when you open that up, that slip there, you can either send that off or do it online. That way it informs the DVLA that you've sold it, but it's kind of in no man's land. So it doesn't add another additional owner. Can you give me any advice on where to source cars from? Again, you've just got to put yourself out there. When I actually first started High Peak Autos, I was on eBay and not Facebook Marketplace so much. eBay, Gumtree, Auto Trader. I was looking for private car sales and I was going all over the place to pick them up. I bought a Nissan Pixo from Norfolk or somewhere. I bought a Renault Clio from London. I was all over the place trying to find stock. So that's what it takes, unfortunately, until you build up a contacts book. Thank you in advance, and thank you for a really wonderful course. You've inspired me. Well, thank you. Hi Matt, I've been selling cars on my driveway for a few months now and doing really well. I've been buying these from the public. I plan to open a dealership soon, but the main issue will be sourcing stock. Can you please... Yep, I think I've already answered that one, but good luck with that. Hi Matt, just started out as a registered trader. I'm waiting for my trade license, so I've been selling them as private ads. If anyone asked me, I would tell the truth. That's what I would always do as well. When you lie, you always get caught out, so there's just no point doing it. Just tell them that you bought it for a bit of profit. Tell them that you're, I don't know, out of work and I'm just buying it for a profit. I don't see why profit should be a a dirty word. I sold a 1.8 TFSI Audi A5. The buyer didn't ask why I was selling it, so they assumed I was a private seller. 1 week later, I got a call to say the timing chain had jumped and the engine was now badly damaged. He took it to a mechanic that knew I was trying to start the business. Now I have an angry person thinking that I sold him a lemon. Oh dear. Thanks, Ian. Right, Ian, that is very unfortunate. It just happens in this job, unfortunately. Technically, if you sold it as a private seller, then you don't have to do anything. But it puts you in a very unfortunate position, doesn't it, that? I don't know. Hi Matthew, thank you for this great course. I've been through most of the lessons and I would like to have more information on how to search for the right price mark to buy a car. This depends. You've got to find your feet with it. I've recently done a video about all the cars that I bought and sold when I was in Spain, and looking back, they're all over the place. Some were cheap, some were expensive. So I think there is no right answer. I think you've just got to try it and see what works. We're all different, and it greatly depends where you live. If you're in the UK, it depends whether you live in a wealthy place or a poorer place as to what will sell. Next question, what are the best ways to sniff out a time waster before you book an appointment for them? That's a really good question, actually. It helps if you've worked in sales because you can properly qualify people first. You can find out if they're in a position to buy, whether they've got a part exchange. You can qualify people. So I would say that, but just have a conversation with them. The longer you do this job, the more you'll be better at reading people. Hi Matthew, you mentioned that you bought your first car for 200 and sold it for 1500. That's right. Where did insurance come to play in this? Well, yeah, I didn't actually factor the insurance into that profit, but I had an insurance policy in my name, and then every time I bought and sold a car in those early days, I would just swap it over. Then I think when I reached 6 or something, my insurance broker said, you've got to now register as a trader rather than a private because you've reached your limit. Hi Matt, is it better to set up a limited company right from the start, even if you're selling from your driveway? It depends what your ambitions are. If you want to do it full time, then I would probably say maybe do half a dozen without setting up a company first and just see how you get on. Make sure you like it before you set up a company. A lot of those questions are quite repetitive. They're all asking about where to source stock from. And I don't really have an answer. You've just got to put yourself out there, like I say. I still have this issue today. Right, so let's move on to the viewer questions then. Not Your DJ has asked, have any of your Range Rovers started acting up recently? No. My white one that I use every single day has had 2 issues actually. Well, the same issue, it's happened twice and I can't get to the bottom of it. The soft close door occasionally on the driver's door doesn't work, doesn't pull it in. So I need to get to the bottom of that, but it's happened twice in 10,000 miles, so I'm not too concerned. Rahan Hassan has asked, hi Matt, have you ever had to scrap a car because it was not worth selling, and how bad was the condition? Yeah, a few times actually. It depends on the value of metal, because sometimes you could sell a car, you know, that you've given £250 in part exchange for, and it's actually worth £350 in scrap. So in some cases it's just not worth fixing. But yeah, I've done it dozens of times really. JDM Snow Monkey has asked, when starting out flipping cars for a profit and a prospective buyer asks a question like, how long have you had it for, or what's your reason for selling, how are you meant to spin it so they don't know you're just flipping it for profit? I'll just be honest with them and tell them that you've bought it from, I don't know, wherever you've got it from, and you're trying to sell it for profit. That might sound a bit naive, but I've always found that honesty is the best policy, so you better just tell them the truth. I always think that that's a really daft question to ask though. Why would you ask somebody when you're looking at a car, why are you selling it? They're never going to say, oh actually I think the head gasket's about to go. They're never going to give you an honest answer, so what's the point of asking that question? They could just blatantly lie to you and say, well yeah, I've lost my job and now I need the money, or my wife's pregnant, or, you know, I don't understand. I don't know why people ask that question. Flipping Cars Repairs has asked, what amount of money do you suggest to open a car trading business? Cars are more expensive nowadays, aren't they? It depends how big you want to go. I started out with about £15,000. You know, when I started IP Autos properly, when I started flipping cars privately, I started with €200. So it depends how big you want to be, or yeah, depends on your own personal circumstances really. What I wouldn't do is borrow a load of money. I wouldn't remortgage your house for 100 grand and pull the money out of that. You need to learn how to do it first. So it's best to learn it with a small amount of money than a life-changing one. David Minns has asked, hi Matt, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. What's your tips for future classics? I love your very honest reviews. Thank you. Almost anything can be a future classic really. I did an article about this recently in a magazine. I'd always stick with something like a Mercedes SL or something convertible that has got some appeal, something that you'd like to use on a Sunday, something like that. And if you look at SLs, the O2 onwards SL now, you can pick them up for 4 or 5 grand, and I guarantee they'll start to increase in value. But also something like an E46 convertible, an MX-5, anything really. As long as the condition's nice and you look after it and you continue to do so, it will increase in value eventually. Richard has asked, with the strong price of vehicles for the past few years and a shortage of new cars, do you see any change in values of vehicles this year? I've just bought a well-priced Mark III TTS, very nice, and I thought with the end of the TT production I wouldn't lose too much money over the next few years. That's probably quite a sensible reason really. No, I can't see any changes, certainly this year. I spoke to a couple of main dealers recently when I've been in for various parts and services and that sort of stuff, and they're still running on like a 12-month lead time for new cars, so while that's still the case, used prices are fairly safe. Cars and Lonely Drives has asked, hi, I have an E39 520 with 115,000 miles. If serviced on time, would it make to 200k and last me another 5 to 10 years? Yeah, definitely. They're really solid cars. As long as it's not completely rotten. I've had a few of these with rusty wheel arches and wings and stuff. If it's not rusty, then yeah, the engine should and the gearbox should. Just make sure you look after it. Flipping Cars Repairs has asked, I have one. What's your profit margin per car on average, and what do you allow to make a profit? It's quite a personal question this, but I'm honest, so I'll tell you. I like to make £1,000 profit on each car. I think if it's a more expensive car, if it's a 20 grand car, then I like to make £2,000 profit. But generally, across the board, if I can make £1,000 profit on each car, then I know I'm going forward month on month. Every time I do my quarterly returns, it's always about the same. It's always about 880 on average. So yeah, that's that. Harry Green has asked, hi, I'm interested to know how you got started, what sort of things you did before. Right, you need to watch one of the earlier videos that I did called Here's How I Got Started in the Used, or Here's How I Ended Up with the Used Car Garage, or something like that. Check that out. Biker Sparky has asked, do you ever venture into other modes of transport with the business, i.e. camper vans, etc.? Occasionally, yeah. I'm not frightened about trying something different. I generally stick to what I know, but occasionally I'll buy a Caravelle or a camper van, that sort of thing, day van. We had a Nissan L Grand recently, so yeah, I'm not frightened. Brian O'Hagan has asked, hi Matt, I've recently gone back to a diesel after having a Corolla Hybrid. I like the Corolla Hybrid, I'd have kept that. I'm getting better MPG now. That's fair enough. What I want to know is why diesel's so expensive. Right, I think you need to ask the Chancellor really, because it's probably just tax and greed. Parvin has asked, if you had £25,000 to spend on a sports car, which would you buy with your own money? Porsche Cayman, Jaguar F-Type, Audi TTS? I wouldn't have a Cayman because I don't really like the styling. I'd have a Boxster instead. So I'd have a Boxster or an F-Type or a TTS or a 370Z because they're great value and they sound awesome. Neely Bob 89 has asked, 10 grand for a daily driver, what do you buy? BMW 530D. That was easy. Stumpy's DIY has asked, reliable 7-seater 4x4 cheap tow vehicle, please. That's quite a sentence, isn't it? Kia Sorento. Another easy one. Stephen Webster has asked, hi Matt, thank you for the hours of entertainment. What do you prefer doing now, the cars or the property? Or do you think you'll keep doing both? I think as humans, we get bored, don't we? You can only do 5 years or 7 years or something. That's traditionally the 7-year itch, isn't it? And I've been doing high peak autos now for 7 years and I'm a bit bored with it, to be honest. But the property is fresh and new and exciting and I genuinely love to see the transformation, so that excites me. But I suspect in 5 years' time, I'll be bored of that as well, so who knows? I don't think I'll ever retire, so if I can keep doing different things, I'll be quite happy. Alex Taylor has asked, what's the best first car that's automatic for under £10,000 that's cheap to tax? A Toyota Yaris Hybrid. It will look like you borrowed your nan's car, but the tax is zero and it is dead reliable. If you want something a little bit more trendy, I'm using a word there that your nan might use, Suzuki Swift. They have a proper auto box. I think it's made by Jatco. Gimp, I am honestly, Gimp. Regard T. Vandermeer, I think I've pronounced that wrong, but I apologise. Your personal take on electric cars and charging points, is it a massive waste of time? Yes, I think it is. I like certain aspects of electric cars, but I think they're one-trick ponies. They do acceleration very well, and they do silence very well, and that's it. They're a chore to charge. I can't be bothered. I can't ever see the day when I own one, to be honest. I'll just stick with petrol. I'm useless with computers, with phones, with apps, with technology. Everything that I have in my home that's supposed to make my life easier doesn't, just winds me up. My Hive heating app, my app to put my heating on in my car, all these luxuries that are nice never work. So what's the point? I've just bought a Sky Glass TV and I hate it. I'd rather go back to an old CRT. Garbage. Turner Craig has asked, hi Matt, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. I'm freezing here. I can't put the heater on because it's too noisy. What's your thoughts on the Mark 1 and Mark 1 facelift Hyundai i30? They're good cars. They're a bit boring, a bit bland, but they are reliable. Same as the Kia Ceed, actually. Acorn Dogs has asked, what old school cars from the 80s and 90s do you like? Ford Sierra, Cavalier, 325, etc. That's before my time, to be honest, but I do like the E30 325. And I love the 80s SL and an 80s Range Rover. Something like an old SL. Don't Ask Why has asked, I'm wondering which car I should buy between a V90, a Mercedes E-Class, a 5 Series, an A6 or a Skoda Superb. All need to be 4x4 and automatic. Any of those, they're all great cars. I'd probably, with my own money, go for a V90 because they look really cool. VX4716 has asked, opinion on electric cars, do you prefer them over petrol and diesel? No. It's funny actually, I was behind a Nissan Leaf the other day, a 2012 Nissan Leaf. I almost shared this, I almost took a picture and shared it on my Instagram, but I didn't bother. And it was a really cold day, it was like -6, it was when we had that really cold snap. And I was sat there with my heated steering wheel on, heated seat on, and I thought, he in front will be sat there shivering because he daren't put his heater on. The Mark 1 Nissan Leaf had a range of about 90 miles when it was brand new, and I know they don't like the cold, and it's now 10 years old. So that, realistically, that range on that car that I saw will be about 35 or 40 miles. So what a complete waste of the Earth's finite resources. I was getting really annoyed looking at it because I was thinking the driver will be really smug thinking he's doing no harm to the environment. But in actual fact, he's got a complete pointless piece of metal there. It takes 8 hours to charge and he gets 35 or 40 miles. What's the point? User TN has asked, how's the cost of living crisis and inflation affected your business? It's meant that we're selling a lot of cheaper cars rather than the more expensive ones. 2, where and how do you find such cheap cars and repair them for so cheap? They're either main dealer part exchanges, so I buy a lot of cars from local main dealers, so it's either their part exchanges or they're my own part exchanges that I've created from my own cars. Fia No Fergal has asked, hi Matt, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. When you have some downtime, what are your hobbies? I like to play the guitar, watch any car related content, listen to music, go for walks with a dog. What do you like to do? I don't have any hobbies. This is the problem. I never really have had. And this year especially, I want to try and make some more time for me because I don't even know who I am because I just work every single day and I'm tired of it. I'm drained. So yeah, I don't know. I need to make some more time. I've got so much on the go, the garage, I've got houses that I'm currently renovating, I've got the property channel, my YouTube channel, Raffle Shack, I've got other projects that I can't go into yet, but they're quite exciting if they come off. I'm just busy and I want to create more time for myself this year because I don't want to be the richest person in the graveyard, you know what I mean? There's no point. Kevin Salisbury has asked, hi from La Herradura, 100 kilometers east of Malaga. Have you driven a Skoda VRS? If so, what's the verdict? Keep up the Spanish sweary words. Okay, I will do. VRS, the great cars. I actually prefer, it's an unpopular opinion, I prefer the VRS diesel because you get the styling of the VRS with the torquey diesel engine and the 50 or 60 miles per gallon. The Lady Gaga has asked, I didn't know she watched the channel, but thank you Lady Gaga. Hi Matt, what are your thoughts on the Ford Fiesta 1 litre EcoBoost? I see it as a really good alternative to French and German cars. I like them. You've got to avoid them I think between 11 and 13. After that they're fine. During that period, that's when they had their issues. Although I think that's a Ford recall. As long as it's got Ford history, they'll recall it. Try and buy a nice low mileage one with good history though. Lone Star has asked, what would you recommend for a 4x4 to buy for around £7,000? Has to be genuinely good in rubbish conditions as I live in the Highlands of Scotland. A Mark II Freelander. Go for an HSE, 2.2 litre diesel. They're really genuinely good cars. Zaydash has asked, is selling used cars livable as a job? Can you be comfortable if, say, you took a month or 2 off? Love the videos. Thank you. I'd love to take a month or 2 off. Genuinely. Not really, because I just think everything would implode. If I took a month or two off and didn't do anything, my views would go down to zero. I wouldn't be replacing stock. I wouldn't be selling any. No, everything would just collapse. No, it's one of those jobs that even when you have a really busy month, the calendar clicks over to the next month and you think, right, last month didn't matter, now I've got to do it all over again. Creates a bit of pressure, really. Derek has asked, how do you travel to Spain, buy properties, drive £80,000 motors whilst earning a living selling high mileage use? Oh. Right, you did you? Okay, you're getting blocked, Derek. Mainly because it's now 7 o'clock on a Sunday and I'm here in the office filming video content and I work 7 days a week. That's how I do it, Derek. There's no shortcuts. There's no trust fund, I'm afraid. It is just hard work. That's how you do it. And also, any profits I make from any of my businesses, I then reinvest into more businesses and other things. So that's why I do it. That's how I do it. Sorry, that's got my back up, that. It's really annoyed me. That's what you're up against. You drive around in a Range Rover and go on a weekend away to Spain on a Ryanair flight for 100 quid and you get people like Derek asking you how you can afford to do it. Because I work every single day of the week, Derek, and I'm now losing my voice. Mr. Damady has asked, I found you on IMDb. I didn't know you're also an actor. I am, yes, I am. Quite an unsuccessful one, to be honest, but yes, an actor nevertheless. My question is about Jaguar. Considering an XE, what are your thoughts on them as a luxury brand versus the Germans? I love the XE. Make sure you go for one with good service history because that 2-litre Ingenium engine can have timing chain issues. Make sure it's been serviced every 10,000 miles. If you get an R-Sport model, they genuinely drive almost as good as a 3 Series. Mahi has asked, best first car, something reliable, Toyota Aygo. LMAO, is that the band? I know that's LMFAO, isn't it? How many properties do you own? Right. This sounds terribly braggy now, doesn't it? 4 personally, 4 solely me, and then I've also got a property business that I set up with my pal from many years ago, and between us we have 3. Yeah, so they add up, don't they? 7 then, 7. So 4 of my own, plus then half of 3. 5.5, there you go. Carol Vorderman. Modernist63 has said, I'm going to be a first-time granddad soon. Congratulations. I want to buy my son and his wife a good, safe, reliable new family car. Which SUV would you recommend for a young family with a new baby? 5 to 10k. Kia Sportage or a Hyundai iX35. B14 has asked, red sauce or brown sauce? It depends. It depends. If it's something with an egg involved, then it's got to be brown. You can't have ketchup with an egg. I hope that's cleared that up. LBS has asked, why didn't you rig the last giveaway so I won? Can't do that, I'm afraid. Mr. Titration has asked, are used car prices for large petrol engines going to decrease this next year? I hope not. I've got a 5 litre sat outside. I don't think so. Large petrol engines, I know they're large, but petrol's actually coming down in price. I put some in mine earlier and it's only 140 a litre now. It was as high as 190 at one point. So no, I don't see why. Louis Brown has asked, what's the best way for me to sell my car without the hassle of selling it privately? Part X, I'm getting really low prices. I'll tell you what, email me then at matt2ts@highpeakautos.com and let me know what it is and I'll advise you. If it's nice and something that I want to buy, I might buy it myself. Mr. Grumpy has said, will you adopt me? No thanks, I've got enough on my plate. Baruz Caligira, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I've never been rewarded for my efforts in life. I genuinely want to know, how does it feel to have financial, social and material achievement? That's deep, isn't it? I can't work out whether that's a compliment or a bit of a backhanded compliment. I don't think I have. I don't know what's gone on in your life, but good luck. Just keep battling on with it. Things will work out for the best. Yeah, if you've got your health, then you can still fight another day, I guess. I don't, without getting too deep now, I don't think life should be easy, should it? Because people would just be bored. It should be a challenge. But you should also enjoy it, which is what I'm going to work on this year. A. Cole has asked, will you be doing a video on the new Range Rover? Yes, I'd love to. What I need to do this year is get in touch with more manufacturers and more main dealers and see if I can borrow and do more new car reviews. I only do used car reviews mainly, but I think to grow the channel and get new viewers and a new audience, a wider audience, I need to do a bit of both. So at least a couple of times a month, I need to get hold of something brand new. If there's anyone from a Land Rover dealer watching, then email me. What's your PIN code? I think I'll skip that one. Christian has asked, what watch are you wearing? Do you have a collection? No, I don't have a collection. I've just got the one. It's a Rolex Explorer 2 that I bought used with a polar dial, which I love, and I'll never sell. I've never really been into watches. I've only recently kind of got into them a bit. There's a bit of a story with how I acquired this. If you're interested in watching a video about that, I know this is a car channel, but I might do a video about that. Let me know below. Zorb has asked, I know you don't like hot hatches, but do you have a favourite? Yes, straight away, a Mark II Ford Focus 2.5 turbo. I love those. Also, the Golf R I filmed with recently, I love driving it, I just couldn't have one. The Up GTI, I like those. I like the Fiesta ST. I like the Mark III Fiesta. I'm a hot hatch nerd, aren't I? I like them, I just don't like the image of them, and I don't like how frequently they're stolen. I don't want to drive something that I'm going to get carjacked. You know what I'd really buy? The M140i, I love that. It's got a premium feel, it's got all the extras that you need, and it just drives really well. I would have one of those, but like I say, I don't want to be dragged out of it at knife point. Paulie Gualtieri has asked, hi Matt, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. If you would start a classic car collection, what would you include in it? I'm not talking about exotic stuff, just more everyday stuff. A P38 Range Rover, a Range Rover Classic, a E38 BMW, a E39 BMW, a Mark 1 ML55 AMG, an Audi S8, an R129 SL. There are loads. The list is endless and odd, very odd. Garnet Reviews would love to pick your brains from a YouTube perspective rather than a car perspective. You have a massive following and well-earned success. What tips could you share for smaller channels to get on the famous algorithm? I don't know how I've achieved this. I'm nearly at 250,000 subscribers and it's amazing. I didn't expect that to ever happen. I only did this as a hobby. What would I recommend? I think, without sounding kind of pretentious or whatever, you've got to be honest. I think you've got to be relatable. You can't pretend to be something that you're not, because people will see through it. You can't create a fake life. Every time I go on YouTube, something pops up with, I've just bought a new McLaren something or other. I couldn't care less. I've got no interest in that. I don't want one. I can't afford one. It's not even from a bitterness point. I've just got no interest at all in that. I'd rather watch somebody buy an old 90s SL or an old Bentley Arnage or something that I could actually, go and get. I've just got no interest in that. Some YouTubers as well kind of, I don't know, create some sort of false persona. I think you just got to be honest and true to yourself, as corny as that sounds. Be relatable, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know. But I appreciate everyone's support. I just don't know. I appreciate everyone's support. I just don't quite know how I've got to this position. Zach's Dashcam has said, would you ever review viewers' cars if they were offered to you for an afternoon? I don't like to do this. I do get lots of offers every week. And I don't like to do this. Thinking about it, I might be a bit of a control freak, because I like to film with my own stuff. That way, if I damage it or break it, it's my problem. I would hate to damage or break a viewer's car because, all right, I'll pay for it, but it just creates a problem that I don't need to have. So, no. But then again, what do you have? Right, favourite car of all time. A 1960s Mercedes SL with a pagoda top. I will own one of those one day. It'll probably be a massive disappointment, but I just think it's the coolest thing ever. And also a BMW Z8, because I just think it's so cool. Utopia YA has asked, I have a few. Money no object, what would your perfect two-car garage be? I would have a 5-litre Range Rover Supercharged Autobiography, still under manufacturer warranty, and I would have something like an AMG GTS. Christian has asked, do you have a motorcycle license? No, but I want to do it this year. I keep meaning to do it. For the last 2 or 3 years, I've been meaning to do it, but I never seem to get time. but I do want to do it. I've got a little moped in Spain that I love bombing around on, but I want to do my license properly. You don't need a license for the moped, which is why I've got it. But I want to buy something like a Ducati Scrambler, or a motorcycle fans will laugh at this, but something like a Honda Rebel, you know, something that's not too big and leery. I'm not into super bikes. I don't want to ride something like that. Just something that's cool looking, really. So yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's about it. Sorry if I didn't get around to your question, but there were lots. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. Check out my online course. It's free for the first 30 days still. I can't be fairer than that. If you're interested in getting into the used motor trade, check it out. So yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.